6-831-0864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Day one of fall camp is in the books, and we are so excited to have you back at Autzen Stadium. The Ducks, though, in Spiders today, the first day out on the practice fields at the Hatfield-Dowland Complex in Oregon. I think a lot of energy. As you can imagine, a lot of new guys that are still getting acclimated to practicing at this level, but also a lot of veterans that, well, really just looked the part out there on the field today. It was great to be back out there. It was great to see the Ducks, to be honest, just working out and working toward that goal of the opener that begins now in just a few weeks as the season will kick things off. Mario Cristobal announcing a few things today. One, Jamal Hill and DJ James have been suspended. Coach with some details on that in just a moment as he met with the media following the first fall camp practice. Some news around Oregon athletics as it relates to the Olympics. We got a few more Olympic medalists to tell you about. Also, Jerry Allen, a focus on the special teams today with Karsten Battles and Henry Katleman. Also, Verone McKinley as we zero in on the defense. He sat down with Jerry Allen earlier this week as well. Without further ado, though, let's hear from the head man, Mario Cristobal. Just a little while ago, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, he met with the media following the first practice of the 2021 fall camp.
Good morning. Good to see everybody. First day of practice, and what you expect on a first day. Everybody's out there and really going about as hard as they can go. But football shape's a little different than weight room shape, and you can see there's a gap there that we have to close, and that's part of camp. But a lot of guys just doing a really good job with technique and fundamentals. We still have a ways to go, but overall execution on the first day was solid. The tempo of practice was solid. The tempo of our drills overall were solid. Okay. I know you'll probably have questions about the two guys had an issue. Those guys are definitely suspended until further notice, and when the time's appropriate, I'll get that information to you. But in terms of them, that's the only question, or that's the only response I have to that. But aside from that, lots of good stuff going on today. I'm looking forward to answering your questions.
Anything by way of a timeline on decision-making for their status for the opener?
I think I just answered the question. So.
What's DJ Johnson's situation?
DJ Johnson hopefully will be joining us pretty soon.
What does this do for Dante Manning in particular, Davies, particularly Bassa, in terms of just opportunities for these guys where they may have been a little bit lower on the depth chart and now they're...
Well, the process always takes care of itself. We create a competition at every single position, and guys get turns. We always go 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Everybody gets the same amount of reps. That being said, guys at certain positions like those guys have proven they can play football and do it at a high level. So they're going to get opportunities as well as other guys.
How did the new coaches acclimate themselves today, and anything that really impressed you?
They did well. They know the pace is scorching, but we know we're pretty thorough in the way we prepare for it, the way we orchestrate a walkthrough, so to speak, for them, because they got to know we have different field spots. We rotate fields on every single drill. We work on 2 different fields, and sometimes on a day-to-day basis, we change that as well, from the flex itself to the one-on-ones to the 7-on-7 drills. So we want to keep guys on their toes. We want to make sure guys are moving, adjusting to sudden change, different parts of the field. So they did a really good job.
The first day of camp can kind of be compared, I feel like, to first day of school, jitters, excitement. How was the energy heading out onto the field this morning from the players?
It's been good for a long time. I mean, these guys, I can't recall a time where the energy wasn't good. It's always really, really high, and you want to make sure guys don't get on the ground. You want to make sure that we're following our practice protocol, right? We want to be really good with our hands, with our feet. We want to stay up, hat position, technique, and fundamentals. And even though you're not tackling, it's still full speed. And you want to practice full speed, but you just don't want to end up on the ground. So all in all, they handled it really well. As a team, we have to learn how to practice and stay up all the time. And the other part we want to really see during camp is we want to see these guys compete. We want to make sure that competition means something here. And by that I mean competition is introduced in a positive way here. You know, it's introduced in a manner where, I don't know if the word embrace, better yet, the word attack. We attack competition. We want to get better. The only way to get better and maximize your potential is to present that. You know, you can't ask and talk about competition when it hits you right in the nose. You buckle and, you know, pout and take your ball home. You know, over here it's always going to be encouraged and promoted as a very critical aspect of our program.
Mario, how would you describe Cam McCormick's journey back to getting on the field today?
Yeah, I tell you, he looked really good. You know, it's very promising watching him run around out there. You know, that tight end group in general, those guys are going to be in really, really good shape. Cam's journey in particular has been has been a roller coaster, right? But there's a lot of heart there. There's certainly a lot of logged reps, or a lot of football experience, a good football IQ, and a want to. You know, he's gone through what he's gone through to be able to do it. And the time is here now. We feel very optimistic there's going to be a really good season for him. So let's take it day by day. Take it day by day, move forward, and hopefully we'll get a great season for Cam and for the Ducks.
He went through pregame motions a little bit last year, like UCLA game a couple of times in 19 late on too. But did he actually go through practice at all last year? Or
some parts of
after
practice.
19? Okay.
Some parts of practice. So it was determined that we had to do something else.
Yeah.
And so far, even though he's been through a lot, and some things are a little bit more extensive than others, he really has bounced back well. And it's the best he has looked in a long, long time. And the progression hasn't been slowed down. It hasn't been altered. He's on course to be playing good football for us.
Robbie Ashford obviously flashed during the spring game, game-winning points. Where is he as far as catching up, you know, having played another sport and just trying to get in the mix here?
Sure. He's catching up. You know, he certainly is. Robbie is a great athlete. He throws the ball really well. Obviously, he could run. He's getting down our playbook. You know, those three guys, it's when you split up reps like that, you hope that there's some type of separation early enough where some guy could get a few more, because you want to prepare two the right way. It's obviously too early for that, but Robbie just takes a lot of pride in what he does. He's a competitor. We're going to throw the kitchen sink at him. We expect him to respond. We expect the competition to bring out the best in everybody, right? If it doesn't, we don't have the right guys. So we're going to bring it at him hard, and we expect him to respond really well.
Is there any...
the next 4 or 5 practices, what are the things that you want to get installed and get done?
Well, we like to have everything installed by practice 6 and maybe spill over into 7, right? And then be able to scrimmage, do our stuff, and then reinstall, tweak some things. And always, I would say, once you hit practice 4 and 5, you always dedicate 15, 16 minutes of a practice to something unique that you might see during the year as it relates to your opponents. You might see the air raid, you might see the out front, you might see 4 down, all kinds of, you know, crazy pressures and blitzes and all that. So, but before you get to the bulk of that or the really exotic stuff, you want to have your stuff installed. So sorry to go a long way, but by practice 6, we'd like to do that. You'd like to have it all done again before you hit your game weeks. You typically go not a full 2 weeks of game weeks, but 10 days. 10 days out, we're into our opponent. Until then, it's full throttle install, getting better, and finding out what we're good at, what our identity is going to be going into the season.
Is there any circumstance that you could see going live with Robbie and Ty in particular, just because of their mobility and they haven't been hit in a collegiate setting yet?
We will not go live on our quarterbacks.
The offensive line, obviously a position special to you. What did you see out of those guys today?
Well, you know, we're in spiders. I mean, so we, you know, you'd like to answer that question more when we reach, I would say, when is that, Thursday? Thursday we'll put on, you know, we'll put on the shells and we'll go at it. But I think what you see, just like the defensive line, just a lot of pride in the way they work. We made it real clear they got to push each other to be really good. The challenges have got to be real. It's got to look a certain way on tape, right? If it's not explosive, if it's not max effort, strain, low pad level, hands inside, knocking people back, and shedding blockers, and them knocking and striking and lifting guys, it's not right. So for the first day, from a communication standpoint, went really well. You know, we exchange and shuffle a lot of guys in and out. We play guys at multiple positions. Looks like it was pretty solid. We'll watch on film. But overall, we expect a lot out of them as we do the D-line. So we're gonna be extra hard on those guys.
Mario Cristobal, we've got more with the Oregon football head coach coming up. Brought to you by our friends at the William Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. I just want to unpack one thing that he said there about Cam McCormick. That's such a cool story. I'm rooting so hard for that young man. Has dealt with so many injuries, really has had a long journey, and it looks like he might be able to come back and play for the Ducks this year. And, man, that tight end group is already really, really deep. Spencer Webb today at practice, a one-handed catch. Just ho-hum. Another big Spencer Webb thing. Anytime there's a Herbert on your roster, you probably get pretty excited. Patrick Herbert sure looks the part. Terrence Ferguson, he's got the body. That tight end group is really a special group. I think that there's a lot of depth there, and the way that Coach Moorhead's offenses in the past have utilized tight ends, I'm really excited for the way that group can develop, and particularly with a guy like Cam McCormick who's really been through the wars for this team. I like that position group quite a bit. Talking a little bit about some of the young wide receivers, too. We're going to do that when we come back. More from Mario Cristobal after this morning's first fall camp practice. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for greatest of all time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're inside the Country Financial Studio. I'm Joey Mack. Mario Cristobal met with the media after practice earlier this morning. The Ducks were on the Hatfield-Allen Complex practice fields in shells and helmets. Well, actually, I should say spiders and helmets. They'll be in full pads and shells here coming up next week as they ramp up toward their first scrimmage, which I believe will take place. Normally, it takes place the following weekend after camp gets rolling. It's always brought to you by our friends at William Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. All of our recordings after practice with Coach Cristobal. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Mario Cristobal meeting with the media today, part 2.
Saying he lost 20 pounds during a 2-week period because he was in quarantine. First off, just impressive that he's been able to get back. And what are you talking to with a guy like that when he's going through something like that?
You know, if he lost it, he found it pretty quick. You know, I didn't see it missing on him very much. I mean, he's 300 pounds plus. He's a powerful guy now, you know, and he'll probably end up landing at the 305, 307 mark. And all these guys, for them, we tell them all the time, they're like a prize fighter. They're a heavyweight fighter. And every fighter has an optimal weight at which they play best at. And those big guys, 3 to 4 pounds, does make a difference. And I think he feels really strong again. He feels like he's in really good shape. He can really close on quarterbacks, close on ball carriers. Very resilient guy, you know. Certainly, I don't know if you guys know his story. When he got here, we actually had a couple procedures to get him, you know, physically ready to play. And every year he's gotten better and better and better, and we feel like he's on the cusp of having a big time year. But also he's got to know, and he does know. Or I'm going to personally push him as hard as humanly possible because he deserves that. And to me, that's the ultimate form of respect. Our team needs him to be a big time player, and he has those capabilities, and he's flashed it before. And we want to see it consistently, and we think he's done a great job, you know, this offseason. We expect him to do a great job this year.
When's your first full padded practice?
Full padded, you know, we'll be in shells on how these new rules work. So we got Wednesday we're in this, so Thursday we get to put on shells. We'll be in shells on Thursday, which you might as well be in full padded. We just don't go to the ground. Okay, so a lot of those rules, there's overlap there on not going to the ground as it is. But you'll see legitimate, it's live work, just nobody on the ground. So give you a nice Popo report, man, and see how he handles them double teams, right?
The guys behind him, when you're looking at the 0 and 1s in particular, just haven't had a lot of opportunities just yet, or they're very young. They haven't been here that long. So how do you evaluate a guy like a Suave who's been here a little bit, but Keanu and Jason who haven't been here that long?
I can say today Suave had a great day. Not a good day, a great day. Got himself up to 293 pounds. Always a lot of pride in the way he's worked, and he looked strong, he looked explosive, he was finishing drills, he was encouraging others. That just popped. Not even watching practice, I could tell you right now that thing popped. Obviously, Jason and Christian are two guys that are young guys with a lot of potential. You know, we play in multiple fronts now. So a 0 nose could very well be a 2 or a 2-eye. The backfield set can determine that, right? The back itself, the sniffer, you know, an inline tight end. So those things change. So everyone has to have enough versatility to play the 0, the 2, the 2-eye, and the 3. So when you, in terms of the true 0 nose, you're looking at every single one of those guys could do it. You know, they all got to be able to do it. So.
Coach, you got a lot of early enrollees in this freshman class. You know, now that you've gotten them from January all the way to here, how big do you think that's been for you as far as getting to the depth that you guys are shooting for?
It's, you know, you wish you had it back then whenever I played. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to say the year. But anyways, you wish you had it back then just because, I mean, the benefits of it are incredible. And I get it, you know, the winter conditioning program is awesome and going through spring practice. Then you got another phase of lifting, phase 2. In the meantime, they have a winter quarter. They have a spring quarter. When the freshmen get here, they already have all that underneath their belt. I mean, it's a massive opportunity for improvement, and you see it. Like today, you know, Troy Franklin today, Dante Thornton today, they look like veterans, you know. Now, let me calm that down a little bit so we don't set them too hard. But they look like they know, and they look like they belong, and they're making a lot of plays. So now I can't encourage that enough, and you can't find enough opportunities for guys to get here early and start the process.
4 guys who weren't were the 4 edge players who just came in the summer. Have you set them in certain spots on the edge, whether it's Tillman, Buckner, McNeil, and Jonathan Flo, or are they going to be mixing in between Jack or Joker and Sam? And
those guys are going to be all over the place. You know, we got to find out what their skill set and how it fits us best. You know, certainly Terrell, Brandon, Jabril, those guys, they're natural outside guys. Jabril has inside capabilities. He's done that before. And I know that John has played outside, but he's more suited to be an inside guy. Now, Buckner's advanced with his hands. I'm sure you guys watch all those crazy videos on, you got one of those things, right? Twitter, whatever that is. All right, so you watch him on there, he's just very advanced with his hands. You watch Terrell Tillman and Jabril McNeil, their length, their suddenness, their explosiveness. We expect those guys to help us not only on the edge, but on special teams. Those guys are going to be really good players. But those 3 edge for sure. John, situational edge inside.
When would you like to make the decision on where they fit during camp? Or is that week 6 of the season you find a spot?
Well, I like to listen to them. By that I mean, you know, by what they do. You know, your actions, they speak so loudly that they'll take care of it. We feel that way. You know, we feel the film always tells you what you need to know. And their best chance at contributing right now is by putting those 3 of those guys on the edge. One being versatile enough to go inside, and then John playing more inside. Now, a lot of things could happen. Camp is camp, practice is practice. There are injuries, and you must create versatility. If not, you're going to be wishing you did. God forbid something should happen.
When you talk about off-season workouts and players having that opportunity to get stronger, the Cattle Monster is back once again. What are you expecting from him this season?
To be about as perfect as he can be. You know, he's, again, another guy, a lot of pride. To me, his work ethic is what really stands out. He just goes. You know, he's built like a linebacker. He works out like a linebacker. Hopefully, we won't have to make a tackle like a linebacker. We could cover better for him. But the cattle monster is, you know, he's got to understand clearly that Cam is in the mix in the competition, and that we have another couple guys that have come in here that are going to provide competition as well. We kick 2 spotted field goals, all like we do 2 spotted drills. So you're looking at multiple guys getting the exact same field goal opportunities, charted, everything from obviously accuracy to operational time, which is important. So all those things matter.
If we're talking special teams, who are some kick return, punt return candidates?
Well, Chris Hudson certainly has popped. You know, Jalen Red has popped. Jalen has done it before. He was really impressive in the springtime, and Jalen was. Obviously, Micah Pittman has done a really good job. And Seven McGee looks good back there. Mikael Wright has done a lot. Mikael Wright actually was a good punt returner too in high school. He played so many downs last year we didn't wear him out and throw him in there on kickoff returns and punt returns at the same time. So we feel like there's no shortage. It's just a matter of making it a competition. Whoever's the best at it, make sure they do it.
Could Mikael be back there like full time like he was in the past though?
And kickoff return and punt return.
Both? Could he do both?
Yeah. The only time he came out of kickoff return last year was when he was gassed.
Yeah.
You know, long drive, extra point, come to the sideline. You got to go back in without a TV timeout. And if he was gassed, and we pulled him out. You know, in 19 he was a split time guy, right? So he had a lot of his wind was good, and so you saw a lot of explosive plays. So we got to do 2 things. We got to get him in great shape, as well as, you know, find ways and opportunities to make sure that he's back there when the ball's kicked, because he changed the game.
There's a lot of different guys in practice playing different spots, and that's the fun thing for me being back at practice today, as we heard from Mario Cristobal, their Oregon football head coach, just where guys are, where do you plug guys in? And, you know, I think as practice moves forward and we start to see guys kind of settle in, and you heard Coach even talking about some of those guys that are playing that edge spot, so important in Tim DeRuyter's defense. Where do some of those guys fit in as time moves forward? Kayvon Thibodeau is a great example of this. He's moved around a little bit in his career for Oregon. You like versatility. You like guys that can play different spots. You've seen it more and more in Oregon's secondary, where guys have been able to play that nickel spot, the safety spot, a more traditional corner or boundary corner, whatever. Field or boundary, I should say, at the cornerback position. The point I'm making, though, is it's more common in the secondary to see guys kind of bounce around for whatever reason. You're seeing it more and more with guys that are playing up front. You're seeing it more and more with linebackers, I think, at this level, because guys are just so athletic and come in with so many different experiences in different positions. That's really valuable for Oregon to have right now. So I say all that because watching the defense today, man, I'll tell you, there are some athletes on this Oregon defense. And, you know, I think that as time goes on throughout the season, too, depth is always going to be tested. We know that. But this is one of the deeper teams, at least from first look, I think, that we've seen at Oregon in the last few years, and that's a testament to the recruiting that the Ducks have been doing. We're going to hear from Karsten Battles, talking a little bit about the special teams here in a moment. Henry Katleman sat down with Jerry Allen, then back to the secondary. We're going to hear from Verone McKinley. First, though, the Team USA 4x100 relay won silver this morning. English Gardner, former Duck, ran in the prelims, and Jenna Prandini, former Duck, ran in the third leg in the finals, and the Ducks going to add 2 more medals to that collection for the Olympics. Congratulations to English Gardner and Jenna Prandini. That's awesome. And Jessica Hull, current Duck, not pro Duck yet, though. I don't know, is that a weird gray area? Like, if you're in the Olympics but you're still going to school, can we call you a pro Duck? I mean, that's like the pinnacle of your sport, though. I know it's not pro, but that's like the pinnacle of your sport. Well, on the world's biggest stage, for track and field at least, I think it's safe to say the Olympics, I know the World Championships are a big deal, but the Olympics are the Olympics, right? Well, it was cool to see Jessica Hull finish 11th in the 1500. She threw up the O, by the way, in the intros. Great image from Jessica Hull. That was awesome. So we got a few more around Oregon track and field to keep your eyes on. Cole Hawker in the 1500. I'm really excited to see what comes of that. Quick timeout from Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. When we return to the Country Financial Studio, Jerry Allen sits down with Karsten Battles. I'm telling you, that's a name that you don't want to hear very often. That's a good thing, because that means he's been really good at his job. Jerry Allen talking with Karsten Battles when we return on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to really volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too. Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. 1 week of Duck Insider about to be in the books, and man, it's flown by. We had Media Day, now the first day of fall camp this morning. We're going to have a busy week next week in the Country Financial Studio because we will be in the heat of camp as the Ducks will gear up for their first scrimmage and get into pads. I'm looking forward to it. One thing that we did at Media Day, Jerry Allen, the voice of the Ducks, wandered around with Brandon Reichelt following him with a camera. So well done, Brandon. Brandon's over there editing the Quack Minute, actually, as we speak right now. So you'll get the report from Rob and I coming up in a moment on the Oregon football social media channels. You know, Jerry and I were talking like, who should we talk to at Media Day? You know, like who did Jerry want to talk to? And he said, how about Karsten Battles and Henry Katleman? Let's do a little special teams focus. And I thought, well, yeah, because in a perfect world, Tom Osborne, I mentioned earlier this week, Tom Osborne always used to say this, like, the only time special teams gets talked about after a game is either like a game-winning field goal, something great, or something went terribly wrong and special teams did not go well. Well, in this case, Karsten Battles has just been so consistent as a long snapper for Oregon. Jerry Allen got to know him a little bit at Media Day and talked about how he goes about his craft. Karsten Battles with Jerry Allen.
All right, let's talk with Karsten Battles. I asked Ryan Walk same thing. With last year being a kind of a free year, I look at the roster and I think sophomore, junior, freshman. Where are you in terms of play?
Well, extra free year of college is something you can't just pass up. So I'll be staying for a fifth year, hopefully, if they have me.
I think they're going to have you. You're the one guy. Jorgie and I do the radio play-by-play and have for a lot of years. And there's always one guy we never talk about. That's a long snapper. You don't talk about him unless he makes a mistake. You guys very rarely make mistakes. I can't remember mentioning your name last year very often, except to say we know you were long snapping. Do you feel an extra pressure with that ball in your hands in a situation like that? I mean, the offensive linemen and the skill position players, they're all set without the ball. You start every play on a snap with the ball. What's that like? Take us through that.
Well, I only have to be perfect. That's what's required of me. So a friend of mine put it simply and said that if a quarterback throws 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions a game, he's going to win Heisman. If I have 12 perfect snaps and I mess up one, I'm fired. And so there's a lot of pressure, but you know, just over time, I've just kind of gotten used to it, and it's just another day in the office. So,
when did you become a long snapper? I mean, a lot of guys want to be a quarterback. You want to be a running back. You want the ball in your hands. Well, you got the ball in your hands. When was it that you turned into a snapper?
So my freshman year of high school, I wasn't that big, and my brother, he was a junior at the time, and he was 5'2", and so I'm like, well, that's where I'm headed. And so I knew I wanted to get on the field to play, and so one position that's kind of overlooked is long snapper. And so I met with a local guy in San Antonio and started training with him, and then I grew. And I hit 5'11", then 6 foot, and then I kept staying with snapping just because we needed someone to do it. And then I started to get national recognition, then I went to higher camps, and then all of a sudden offers started coming in. I was like, well, I could actually do that.
What's the toughest part of long snapping? I mean, it's got to be, you got a couple of guys over your head, and rules don't allow them to take you on quite as quickly as they used to, but what's the toughest part of that job?
Being consistent. So one major key of being consistent and doing it is keeping conditions the same, and they're never the same. And so I have to do everything I can to keep what I do similar so we can get a similar result, to make sure that I'm consistent.
Do different holders, punters, require a different delivery of the ball? Is that something you guys have to work out, or is it pretty much standard?
I mean, good is good, but all punters, they have a slight different preference, or holders have different preference where they catch the ball, and then the coaches have a spot they want to see it come in at. Yeah. And so just a combination of both of their opinions is where I like to deliver it.
How tough was last year for you? I know your teammates, it was an up and down, didn't know what was coming up next, and empty stadiums. What was that like?
Empty stadiums were probably the weirdest thing, because I haven't played in less than probably 8,000 people since I was playing on varsity in high school. So just the empty stadiums was so eerie. It felt like we were just going out for another practice. It just, like our Fast Friday that we have in the stadium, it just felt like we were just going out there to practice, and then you get in there and there's cameras, and it was very, very weird to play without fans.
Karsten, what do you do for fun? I mean, you got class, you got practice, you got to have a life there. Do you have some activities, some hobbies, some things you like to do?
Well, I fish, I shoot, I go off-roading when I get my car back, that is.
When you get your car back, that was a little, you hung that out there in the air.
Yeah, I might have wrecked it a couple months ago, still don't have it back yet.
Off-roading will do that to you. I've done that myself. You're a big guy. I talked about Ryan, about liking food. Do you have roommates? Who are you rooming with?
I actually don't room with anyone that's on the team. I met a bunch of different guys from doing different activities and classes around campus, and hit it off with a couple, so I live with them right now. I actually move tomorrow.
Oh, really? Okay. Talking about food, you like to cook? Are you a good cook?
I'm good at working the grill.
Okay. That's cooking?
Yeah.
That counts.
Yeah, and so I enjoy making burgers and wings and such like that. Not necessarily healthy things, but good things.
What's the most important or the biggest thing you're looking forward to getting back to this year?
The fans, absolutely the fans. That's the one thing that I miss the most when playing here is just the eerie silence and then the fake crowd noise. I hate that. Just so some real fans, some real noise, that'd just be excellent.
I will go along with that. As a snapper, a long snapper, what are you part of the offensive line as far as drills and things? I mean, is that your group?
No, I'm basically considered a combo, so kind of like just another linebacker. So I get to run with the linebackers and the mids.
Did you ever quarterback?
Excuse me?
Did you ever play quarterback?
Well, in high school, I threw I think it's 57-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, it's crucial. Your team, I think you were 40 of 41 in pad attempts as far as snaps. Completed one pass your senior year for 56 yards and a touchdown. All right? Yeah, so 56 yards. How'd that come about?
So my brother, he played quarterback in high school. He didn't play, but he played quarterback. And so he always used to have me throw with him. So I got pretty good at throwing, and I also played baseball, so I have a pretty strong arm. And I was just messing around in practice before practice one day, and my coach looked at me, he's like, "You can throw." I'm like, yeah, I can throw. And so he drew up the play, and I didn't think we were actually going to run it because in practice we didn't run it successfully once, but it worked out in the game. So.
You ever get to do it again? I mean, it was successful.
No, just the once. That's all it was for me. It's not often you get to mark a point in your life when you peak. So.
Well, I hope we get to call your name many times when we say you're going onto the field getting ready for a snap. But once that play starts, we won't mention your name again because every time it's perfect.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that was one thing I was told when I come to college. It's like you can be the best long snapper ever if nobody knows your name.
I love that so much. Karsten Battles, just know your role, right? Like that is it. But how about that story? I love that Jerry was talking about that, and Karsten's just, I don't know Karsten well, but just saying and hearing that and just hearing that sense of humor of like, yeah, I've already peaked. It's like, what? He can't. I mean, that was great. That was Jerry Allen talking with long snapper Karsten Battles. The goal is that I said, all right, there's Karsten Battles. He's Mr. Consistent, and then that's all we ever hear from him. We're going to continue with the special teams focus. Henry Katleman, they call him the Cattle Monster. I hope that there's a great origin that we'll be able to get really like – I've heard the story a couple times, but I want him to be able to tell it like on the coach's show. And I know Jerry talked with him about it a little bit. Jerry Allen talking with kicker Henry Katleman when we come back. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. More from the Country Financial Studio after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy, no matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Exit Strategy, no matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
We're back in the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack. Thanks for being with us. Ducks first practice this morning. Second practice tomorrow. We'll have a Quack Minute coming up on the Oregon football social media channels here shortly. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, we'll also have one tomorrow. And Rob Mosley's practice report coming on GoDucks.com. For those of you who like the written version, we got that for you too with some observations. One thing that it was fun for me, I hadn't gotten a chance to say hi to Tony Washington since he came back as the Director of Player Development, former Oregon football player himself. It was great to see Tony, and I told him the story that, hey, the last time you and I were having a conversation, it was because I was, let's just say we revisited a story where I am running down the sideline while he is running on the field. Tony outran me, don't worry. But you probably all remember the play I'm talking about when Jameis Winston fumbled and Tony Washington picked up the ball, ran it in for a touchdown. Well, if you look very closely in the video, you'll see a real dope with a headset and a microphone in full sprint yelling into the microphone because I was trying to confirm to Jerry Allen up in the booth who had the ball, who was running, and it was Tony Washington. And I told Tony that story today, and he just laughed, and he was like, man, that is one of my favorite memories from my football career. It was cool to talk to him, and to have him back around these parts is just really cool. He said there was quite the energy. That's how he felt at practice today. Meanwhile, earlier this week, a little bit of a focus on the special teams. Henry Katleman, you heard Mario Cristobal get asked about him a little while ago, and he wants him to be consistent as possible. That's what you're always looking for from your kicker, whether it be kickoffs, whether it be punts, to be honest, whether it be field goals, extra points. You just want consistency from your kicker. Special teams is all about consistency. Henry Katleman got a chance to catch up and talk with Jerry Allen, and it was a lot of fun hearing from the man that they call the cattle monster around these parts.
We're going to talk with Henry Katleman, and the first thing I'm going to ask you is what year in school. I mean, you guys got a free year last year, so I wonder, are you going to be sophomore, junior, who are you?
Yeah, for academics, I'll be a senior, but for eligibility-wise, I'll be a sophomore.
Wow, that's pretty cool, but not fun last year. What was the toughest part of that COVID year for you guys?
You know, there's many challenges for everyone going through there, but, you know, just sticking with it is one of the biggest problems, I feel like. You know, we really had to see past of what the struggles could have had with COVID, but I think that we handled it pretty well.
Next question, a big one. How'd you get the nickname, Cattle Monster?
I think Coach Cristobal came up with that one, and it stuck with him. It stuck with the team, and I think it's a great nickname.
I love that nickname. It's fun to talk about. You handled the majority of field goal and extra points over that final 4 games. I think you were perfect on pats and field goals. 47-yarder last year. But in the spring game, 52-yard. Didn't you kick 52-yard? Is that your longest?
In a game in front of the television, it was the longest field goal I've had.
When did you become a kicker? I mean, a lot of guys want to play quarterback. They want to be running back. Want the ball in their hands. At what age or when did you decide I can be a kicker?
So soccer was my passion all through high school. I wanted to go to college to play soccer. I was a goalkeeper. But I wasn't getting the looks I wanted to get, so I started kicking my senior year of high school that summer, and I had about 4 months of preparation before my walk-on tryout, so I started my senior year of high school.
So you don't play 1 year of high school football, is that right?
I never played high school football, actually. No. Yeah. So my first time putting on pads was my freshman year here at the university.
What kind of an experience was that? I mean, having never played football.
Man, it's fantastic, and I live it up every day, and it's been the best ride so far, and I'm excited what's ahead of me.
But you're a soccer style kicker. I'm from back in the day when you kicked it straight on square toe. You ever try that?
No, I break my toe. Yeah, that wouldn't feel too good.
Talk about this coming season and about mentally as a kicker, what you guys have to go through, because I go to practices and I know everybody's out hitting and doing stuff, and you guys as a group are over doing other strange, crazy things in practice. What's it like for you guys?
Yeah, I just really stick to my fundamentals. I go to my steps. I make sure that my steps back into the side are consistent every time. I make sure that I'm getting good contact on the ball, my arms coming through the ball. There's so many little factors that I can work on the side to make sure I'm going to execute when the kick comes. So yeah, just working on my little details so when the time comes, I'm ready to perform.
What's a relationship like between you and your holder? Coach Costa was a holder, and he had some game-saving holds, and I think one night at Arizona I'll never forget. So how often do you guys work on and communicate with that part of the game?
Absolutely. Well, the holder, Thompson, he's one of my best friends on this team, and it's tremendous being able to be that close to your holder, because that's the guy who's in charge of making sure the ball's on the spot at the right time and laces are out. So it's really important to be really close with the holder as well as the snapper.
Let's go take me through the process. Karsten's got the ball, getting ready to snap it. I mean, what's going through your head? Is it just an automatic, once that ball's snapped, you go, or do you actually wait, hesitate, and see what's going on?
Well, you don't have too much time to sit back there and wait. So as soon as Tom lifts his fingers up, I usually do my jab step and then go into my kick. But yeah, you don't have too much time to think when you're back there. You just kind of have to trust your training and trust the process, and trust that the ball's going to be down there when it's supposed to be down there.
How do you not overkick your leg or overkick your body? I mean, I've seen guys do that in seasons.
Absolutely. Well, It's quite challenging because, I love going out there and getting better and just trying to perform and continue to get reps. But, you have to make sure your body's okay with that. You can't go out there and kick a million balls and expect to see great results. You have to monitor that and just go out there, knowing that you're going to get the best out of the day and not overdo yourself.
What's your best going to be this year? What do you think you're capable of? Or do you put that kind of pressure on yourself?
To be honest, I focus at one kick at a time. If it's PAT, if it's a field goal, no matter how far it is, every kick's the same to me. So I'm really just focused on the next kick. I'm not too worried about what's going to be ahead of me. I'm more focused on that one kick that's in front of me at the time. But, I'm excited to go out there and see what I have to give.
You ever lobby in to go out and kick? Hey, coach, I got this. Get me out there. I can do this.
No, man, I trust coach to make the right decision when the time will come. But, yeah, he can put me anywhere he wants, and I feel confident, and I'm happy that, he has confidence in me. It makes me feel great. So, I'm excited for what's to come.
Who's the Cattle Monster rooming with? Do you have roommates on the team?
No, I don't have any on the team. I'm with some friends from back home and my girlfriend, yeah.
All right, so I like food. Always want to know what guys eat. Football players, where I always get this vision of guys eating like 12 hamburgers, 14 pizzas. All that. Are you a chow hound?
Oh, I love eating, man. I love cooking. I like making salmon, steak, chicken, all of it, man. I enjoy the foods.
All right, I appreciate that. Well, it's going to be an interesting year, and as you get ready for this year, what's the one thing you're looking forward to this year? Maybe that you missed last year or this team missed last year, you're looking forward to?
Well, I only had 4 games this previous season, so I'm excited to go out there and have a full schedule ahead of me. And I'm excited to be out there and compete. I'm excited to show the hard work I put in, and I'm excited to be there to provide for my team, my coaches, and myself, and just have a killer season.
I bet you're looking forward to getting fans back in there too, aren't you?
Absolutely, man. The most amount of fans I've had ever was the Fiesta Bowl, so I'm excited to actually have a full crowd.
All right, man. Henry, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. It's fun watching it. Can't wait for you to get that opportunity to kick because we love to bring a monster out there.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. It was great meeting you.
Henry Katleman talking with Jerry Allen. That's man, that was fun getting to know that. But yeah, the story of Coach Cristobal just comes up with the nickname and then it sticks. It's kind of how it happens, right? They always say that you can't pick your own nickname. I did not pick my own nickname. Jerry Allen's the one that named me what I am now known by, which the funny thing with that is I think people were calling me that when I first started working with Jerry before I called myself that, and that's how you know it sticks, right? Like when people started calling Henry Katleman the Cattle Monster, like that's when you know, oh yeah, this is going to stick. He is very, very consistent, though, and it was fun to get to know him a little bit. How about the fact that the most fans he's ever played in front of was the Fiesta Bowl, though? I mean, that, I feel like going to ever be able to accept that those sorts of things are still going on as we're all kind of ramping back up toward what we think is going to be a regular football season, but that's wild. That's wild. It's going to be a little different coming up in front of a 100% capacity Autzen Stadium. Season tickets are on sale at GoDucks.com. When we come back, zeroing in on the defense, Verone McKinley. He sat down with the voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen, a guy who is a very cerebral football player. We're talking with Verone McKinley next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here inside the Country Financial Studio. And today's show always brought to you by our friends at Hoodoo, longtime supporters of Oregon athletics. Oregon back on the practice field tomorrow. It'll be round 2 for the Ducks. And we'll have a practice report and a Quack Minute for you on the Oregon football social media channels to catch you up on everything. And Tim DeRuyter and Joe Moorhead are going to meet with the media on Saturday. We'll have those full interviews for you on Monday's edition of Duck Insider right here on the Oregon Sports Network. We're going to wrap today up talking with Verone McKinley. Jerry Allen sat down with Verone McKinley on Media Day talking about, him. Jerry Allen getting to know Verone McKinley.
First question I'm asking everybody is, because of the free year last year, where are you in terms of play and in school?
I've graduated. I graduated in the summer, this spring actually. I graduated, so that's good to go. And then I'm a junior football. Yes, sir. Yes, I think it's 2 more years. So whatever happens, happens. I feel like we have a good season. A lot of things will be we'll see from there. But I'm just excited for this year.
I hate to look back, but what was one of the toughest or a couple of the toughest parts of last year for you and as a team?
Just, of course, the opt-outs and just not knowing. I feel like the feeling of not knowing what was going to happen was always something that kind of you look at and just you'd be kind of confused. But I think it helped a lot because it helped you not want to take football for granted, because our season did get canceled, and it kind of helped me step back and realize you can't take football for granted because it can be taken away at any moment. So I think it was a good and a bad thing in my opinion.
When I look at you, I see a guy who had at least 27 schools, most of the majors, wanted you to come play football for them, and you said, no, I'm going to go to Oregon. Why? What was the decision process there?
I had committed at first when Coach Taggart was here, and then I still trusted Coach Cristobal, so I went ahead and signed, and I just felt it was the best place for me. It was a little far from home, but I also felt that everything I wanted to accomplish, I could accomplish here and do it at a high level. So wanting to play early, wanting to graduate, wanting to meet different people like Phil Knight, like Ahmad Rashad, and to continue to grow my own personal brand, as well as help win national championships and Pac-12 championships, that's always been the goal. And I think me coming here it's allowed me to get to those points. So I think it's been a good decision.
Yeah, you're a ball hawk. I mean, you just seem to go get the ball. Your play is exemplary, but your leadership, is that something that you, as a younger man, when you came in, thought about being a leader, being a guy that teammates looked up to, and almost a coach on the field?
I would say yes, and it started from an early age. I started off playing quarterback, and then just as I got older, it was more of a transition to receiver and DB, and then I got super serious about defensive back. But I've always had kind of those leadership qualities in me, and I want guys to follow me, and I want to always be that example. And I just felt, especially last year, that I really need to take that step. Seeing guys in front of me like Ugo, like Javon, and being able to take that step and have learned from them, I felt it was kind of my job, and that's why we kind of are there. And then the coaching part, my dad's a coach, so understanding football and understanding how to regurgitate it to other people has been a big part of it.
Got to be looking forward to this year, but a big part of this year is getting the fans back in the stands. How much do you miss that?
Man, that's the best part of Autzen. Walking in, you hear that bike and you hear all the fans, and I think it's going to be a big help to us, especially with the noise. As loud as they are, the offenses can't hear, we can't hear, so I think it'll be a big part of our success.
We've got a great D-line, linebackers, secondary. Talk about the strengths of this team and that side of the ball. Where do you think your strengths are?
I think our strengths are in our experience and then just our leadership. We have people that want to step up and be that leader, and guys who want to make plays no matter what it takes, and being able to fly to the ball at all costs and playing 100 miles per hour at all times for each other is going to be really, really big for us. And I think this is the year for us. I think this is the year we put it all together.
So you got somebody on that defensive line, too, on the outside that's an edge guy that kind of makes your game a whole lot more fun, too, because he's putting pressure on the quarterback. What's it like to have a guy like that?
It's huge because him being that guy that gets off the edge and is always causing havoc makes things easier for us in the back end. But it also allows for guys up front to create those one-on-ones, and they're able to go and make plays themselves. So he helps everybody. He helps the linebackers with gaps. He helps the D-line get their one-on-ones, and he helps us in coverage not have to cover so long. So we work hand in hand.
Are you a gambler when you're out there as far as taking chances? I mean, you have so much confidence in yourself that you just know. And I'm thinking in terms of a guy that I got to call Kenny Wheaton when he made that, he studied during the week and he jumped a route because he knew it was going to be there. Do you play like that, or is it instinctual? How do you play your game?
It's all of the above. I mean, it's crazy when you're so prepared. You just know because I like to watch film. I like to always be steps ahead because I'm going backwards playing DB, and you don't know what the offense is going to do. But with so much film study and understanding tendencies and formations and the situation, it helps me play so much faster. And I got that from my dad. He said if you know what the offense is going to do, you're able to play faster, and that's what it is. So I wouldn't say I'm a gambler because I feel like I know, and it's just an instinct and a you prepare for it all week. You know it's coming, and you just go get it.
Preparation.
Yes, sir. Preparation.
Teammates, who you room with? Do you have guys on the team you room with?
Yes, sir. I room with Micah and Steve Stevens, so that's fun. We have a little jaw back and forth because we go against Micah in practice every day. But it's good. Two guys that are super competitive, and I think are going to have really good years. Steve's been waiting, and I think this is the year he really gets to shine. And Micah, we know what Micah can do, and I just think he's going to continue to build off of what he's done so far. So
you guys like to cook? I mean, who's the cook in the house?
Steve's actually the cook. Steve is the one who can really cook. I'm not even going to lie to you. Steve can throw down in the kitchen.
What's your favorite? What do you like to eat?
We've made chicken sandwiches before. That was probably my favorite. He made chicken sandwiches one day, and it was better than Popeyes almost. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Make sure you got it, Steve.
Free time. You got to have some free time. I know you do a lot of preparation, a lot of film work, and just practice in class. But what do you do when you get some free time? What do you like to do?
I like to play video games, and then I'm big in all different sports. Boxing. I really like boxing a lot, and UFC, but just all types of sports, watching YouTube videos, watching Mic'd Up in the NFL, and just going to the movies. I like to go to the movies. It was really big when they opened things back up. I like to go and sit in the movie theater and watch a movie. So those are some things I like to do in my free time.
You're having fun, aren't you?
I am. I enjoy this.
Well, hey, we have fun out there watching you, too. Have fun this year. I never say good luck. I always say play well. And we'll talk about you on the radio. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's Verone McKinley talking with Jerry Allen. Great way to wrap up the week. So chicken sandwiches. You learn something new every day when you talk to the student athletes around here. 1 week in the books. The Ducks with one fall practice in the book as well. They will be back at it tomorrow on Saturday. And then an off day. Back at it again on Monday. And we'll be back here on Duck Insider on Monday as well. I'm Joey Mack. Thanks for being with us. 1 week down, guys. A bunch more to go.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamily